KOKODA, day 8 and the finish line, and this is basically the last 3 or 4 minutes of the trek. So we'd already walked 7 and quite a bit days. You can see the growth on my face is pretty disgusting by now, and it's warm. It's about 30 odd degrees. Humidity is probably about 75%. The condensation levels are starting to rise, and that round circle that you'll see on the screen is actually the lens starting to fog up, and that's what it was like some days after only a couple of minutes. It was just so warm, and I tried to keep the camera under as much shade as possible just to prevent it from doing this, but there wasn't any chance of it without getting condensation on the lens. This was really hard. We'd already had a pretty big day. We'd stopped for lunch, we'd had a break. About 20 minutes before this point, we'd actually huddled around in a circle and all shared our experiences and what going on the KOKODA Trail meant to us. A lot of people were talking about how when they're at home they take so many things for granted, like their family and their friends, and they won't do that again. And for me, there was a couple of things really. I mean, obviously the chance to do this for Kids Plus and raise some money for that organisation is fantastic, but just things I'd taken for granted, like fresh drinking water, having a clean, dry towel when you get out of the shower each morning, having a shower or comfy bed, things like that we just take for granted. So this was a real eye-opener. It was really fantastic. I must also point out that in about, I reckon it's about 30 seconds time, although I had the camera on my shoulder and I had about 9 hours worth of charge in total and a 32 gig memory stick, I thought that something had gone wrong with the camera, and then I thought I didn't actually get the finish line, and so close too. So it's probably a good thing that I'm talking over the top, because I don't think I swore, but I wasn't very overly happy. So through the puffing and the panting and the grunting, you hear me cursing, basically. Obviously, I didn't do something wrong, or the camera didn't run out of power. It just, for some reason, started beeping at me, and I don't know what it was, but it all worked. And it wasn't until I got back and looked at this footage today that I went, hang on, I actually got the finish line, which was great. You can see us all single file. You can see us all with our heads down. We're tired. We're really starting to feel the heat. We're not too far away, which is fantastic. When we got to the top, to the grassy area, we all had to wait for the last couple of people. I think Brian might have been last, but I'm not sure. He was probably only about 20 minutes behind everyone else, which really wasn't a big deal. It gave us a chance to catch our breath, have a drink of water if we had anything left in our bag or our camel packs, and then we could all go through the KOKODA Arches together, which was a really nice feeling to know that we'd met, or basically all met as strangers. A few of the people came as mates, but most of us are strangers, and we're all finishing this achievement as friends, which was really fantastic. It was a nice feeling, making these connections with people over the 8 days, 10 days really, in Papua New Guinea, and people that I'll just be in contact with for the rest of my life. I just think they're all amazing. Gee, look at that condensation on the lens. Look at the sweat dripping down my neck. That beard, seriously, as soon as I got back to Australia and I could find a razor, that was gone. That was so gross. Things like running water, things like a shower, a mirror. I didn't see myself for 8 days, so it was a bit weird, especially working in the media where you need to sometimes look at yourself and find out if you're presentable. It was a strange thing to not be able to do that. Here we are at the top, and you can see those arches. And remember, at this point, I didn't think that I was recording. I didn't get enough of the arches in this because A, I was so exhausted, and B, I was a little bit delirious. I was starting to lose it a little bit mentally, and this is the point where I just thought, you know what, brain shutting off now. It had done its job. It had got me here. My legs had walked as far as they could. I take the backpack off. I still forget that I'm recording, and I just go for the biggest gulp of water that I could find, and I don't think I had a lot left in the bottle at this stage, but I was so thirsty.